What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the sophomore album by Waterparks, a pop rock, pop punk alternative band from Houston, Texas. The new album is called Entertainment. It's the follow-up to 2016's excellent album Double Dare, one of my favorite debut albums of recent time. It just really caught me by surprise. I initially knew who these guys were because they opened for Good Charlotte. I saw their name on a poster, and Good Charlotte were coming back, and apparently the Madden brothers were very excited about Waterparks, but I didn't check them out until slightly before Double Dare. My girlfriend went to Warped Tour that year, saw them there, really liked their sound, and then I, of course, got into the single Stupid For You, and it's all history from there. A lot of you guys have actually told me that you got into Waterparks because of watching my Double Dare review, so that's very cool. I'm glad you found some new music that you really like. I was obviously stoked for Entertainment. I don't normally pre-order records, but I wanted to go ahead and get this vinyl, so we'll do a quick little unboxing here because that's what I've been listening to this on. Here you go, little color variant. You can see, I think this one was limited to a couple of hundred or maybe even just 100 copies, so glad to have this one in the collection, and yeah, pick it up if you're interested in the album. The first time around, Waterparks presented us with a very, very cool, loose flowing feel. It seemed natural with Austin Knight, the lead singer, and his lyrical content. It was very much off the cuff, but also personal, but relatable somehow at the same time. He packed a lot into those lyrics, and some of the lines that may have initially seemed surface level, you can sometimes see that there's more to it. So I'm glad I got the lyric book to read along with this new one. It came with the vinyl record, and as I went through this new LP, I just can't help but feel like it's slightly off the mark from their debut. I know it can't just be compared to that. They obviously want to do new things with their sound, but I'm just a little worried. I'm not going to spend the whole review complaining or anything. I'm just a little worried that they're leaning more towards pop, and it doesn't always have the best results. However, now that I've gotten that gripe out of the way, I do like the majority of this record. Even if not all of the songs are quite as great as their debut, there's still a lot of fun here and a lot of emotion packed into some of the lyrics. Austin went through a breakup around this album's cycle and some of the writing for it, so you can obviously see that he's almost hopelessly lost, or else optimistic, or else just down in the dumps on some of these. You have songs that really get furious, like obviously Tantrum. He tears into some stuff on that one. It starts off with a little manipulated vocal sample talking about like how everybody manipulates their voice now, pitches it, isn't that what's popular now? Let's take off our black clothes and now we're gonna do this. And it works surprisingly well. The guitars in Tantrum are super loud, kind of furious, as Austin is practically fuming. I really like what Jeff Wigington is doing with the guitar tone on this one. It is very reminiscent of something off of their first album, like Little Violence. The roaring guitars there, and I don't mind that. It does feel a bit similar, and I get those vibes on a couple of tracks here, but it's not usually in an overwhelming sense. There's even a callback on Blonde, for example, to Craves, which is kind of cool, talking about craving a getaway, everything like that. Their music does feel connected, and it doesn't just feel like the songs are written with no purpose. But on this track, Tantrum, I feel like there's kind of a call and response that's gotten kind of rare in recent days for music to just kind of cycle in between, like there's a riff, and then there's a spoken or sung part, and it goes back and forth, and then it has a very choppy, loud chorus that I really do enjoy. It might feel a bit petty, but at the same time, he's really hammering those points in, and there's practically no denying it. I really do feel that pull and shift in the soundscape of the music and what they're going for, definitely trying some new things, and I can see why Austin said in interviews that Blonde was going to be the most Double Dare sounding track here. I mostly agree with that. I definitely hear a couple others that remind me of it, but I would say that Blonde, and its catchiness and its greatness, I do love that track, its fervent guitars, the really cool hooky vocal melody, it does remind me the most of their debut. But here, I'm definitely getting traces of electronic music, some 80s vibes, like on Not Warriors, for example, definitely kind of a chipping synth pop type tune going in the chorus that does have some loud guitars in it, very, very hooky, kind of sticks like glue with that one in particular. Not Warriors, one of the better tracks here, and it kind of ingrains it into your memory that Waterparks are doing new things, but still being true to themselves at the same time. They really go out on a limb on some of these cuts like Crybaby, which has some Melanie Martinez references, it seems like, talking about pity parties and just the title of the track and in general. Her album was called Crybaby, but this one is very different. It starts off kind of like a dark, new wave, 80s synth pop type jam, and I don't mind that whatsoever. It's just that it was a bit unsettling at first. I really had to try to get into this track, but once it clicked, it absolutely did. This is definitely turning into a favorite for me. It's very, very different for Waterparks. If you're into the more enthusiastic, upbeat stuff, this might not be for you, but I do have to say, give it a chance. You might change your opinion on it. This is one that works in synthesizers and mostly works with like a programmed drum track and that sort of thing. Not really that many real instruments here, it doesn't feel like. Definitely a lack of guitars, but that's not always a bad thing, and here they actually managed to pull it off. They've got another tune called Peach Lobotomy, which definitely works in some whistling and some more acoustic guitars that do feel a bit breezy. Just kind of the bum 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 lyrics. They don't always work for me. It's still kind of hooky and grabby, but I don't know how effective it's going to be in the long run, as in terms of me coming back to it over and over and over again, like I did with so many tracks on Double Dare. Lucky People is something I found to be very interesting because it's an acoustic ballad. It's mainly acoustic guitars and Austin Knight's vocals, and with an X being in the picture now, I don't want to read into it too much, but it seems like maybe just wanting a return to normalcy, maybe sometimes getting caught up in all of touring, being in the band, everything like that. Let's be lucky people, you and me. That's the main phrase that I took away here. And that's something that is said in the chorus, and I feel like those words do hit home, even if the song doesn't have as big of a punch as I hoped it would, especially for an acoustic song like this. It's well done, it's just not the most memorable thing in the world. However, there are other moments on this thing that do grab my attention big time and have me coming back. The track Rare is incredible. That one is so catchy. I don't care what anybody says, you will find me rocking the hell out to that one, especially once that chorus comes on. It's something where I'm not even going to try to mimic those vocals, but it's classic Waterparks and classic kind of like pop rock, pop punk, and those chords that are played on the guitar are just so memorable. They're so sweet as well. You can practically taste them. It's like sugar in your mouth, and the way that it goes down so smoothly, you just want to play it over and over and over again. I can even say some similar things about the opening track 1111. I found this one to be surprisingly pleasant with repeated listens. It starts off weird with kind of that like almost chiptune type synthesizer, the way that it's played very, very rapidly and quickly, but it works in the guitars, and it talks about some themes that do recur here, being lucky, going out on a limb and making wishes and that sort of thing. 1111 is obviously the time of night or morning that you make a wish, and he talks about that here. And it's maybe not the most deep track in their discography, but it really doesn't need to be in order to work. Listen, we need to talk about the song We Need to Talk. This might just be my least favorite from Waterparks to date. I really can't stand this song. It's way too sugary sweet. It's trying to be a lot of different things, and it even references the whole Love Yourself Justin Bieber song, My Mama Doesn't Like You and She Likes Everyone, that whole thing. And it just comes across like trying to be so innocent and innocuous in a way, but it just rattles off in your head in the wrong way. I can't really explain it until you've actually heard it yourself, but it's one of those things that I just find off-putting. Finally, we get to the last song, Sleep Alone. This one reminds me a lot of It Follows from Double Dare for some reason. I don't know why. It's not like the overarching theme of the song is the exact same or the instrumental is the exact same. I just feel like I said it's just a little bit too influenced in places. It's like I did want a continuation of the sound in some ways, but it doesn't feel like it branched out enough. That being said, I still like Sleep Alone. It doesn't feel like the best closer, and the album does get a bit inconsistent towards its last phase. I mean, you've got a couple of tracks that just don't fit that well together. I mean, you're going from some of the very catchy stuff like Rare into Tantrum, which is just all over the place, ripping you a new one, and then Crybaby just throws a curveball that you're not expecting, and then back into a more traditional song, Sleep Alone. It's a bit inconsistent with its tone, but as a whole, I won't say it's something that totally drags down my enjoyment and the way that I'm entertained by entertainment, but still, I don't know, maybe not the best note to go out on. So for me personally, I think this is going to have a moderate replay factor, but it's mainly going to be for my favorite tracks. I'll put my least favorites favorites in the description, everything like that. And for me personally, I'm going to go with a 3.5 out of 5. I think that's fair for this album, considering I gave a 4.5 out of 5 to Double Dare. Anyways, guys, that's just my opinion. Please drop a like on the video. If you're new to ARTV, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. If you would like to win that digital copy of Entertainment by Waterparks, just comment down below letting me know what you think about the album, and please include your Twitter name so I can send it to you, Twitter or Instagram, whatever you prefer. And then like the video. Other than that, you can see a Double Dare review right here, and I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.